And now for our interview segment, VR or virtual reality has been a whisper in the Silicon Valley for years. Now it has not only become a reality, but an invasion in various industries. Virtual reality has opened the doors to greater opportunity for graphic designers, animators, and alike. It has changed the gaming world for the better or worse. Well, that depends on perspective. But today, to talk to us more about VR, I have here Datin Shireen, the co-founder and CEO of VR Lab. Hello, Datin. How are you today?
Hello, fine, thank you.
Fantastic. All right, so before we jump into the more serious or detailed questions, I suppose, could you tell us more about yourself?
Okay, just a little bit about myself. I'm Datin Shireen, the CEO and co-founder of VR Lab. So basically, I have been a tech entrepreneur for the past 11 years. So I started from edu-tech all the way to property technology, and right now here I am into VR Lab, which is virtual reality. It's because that we see that the new technology, which is really an eye changer, that I see that virtual reality is going to change and impact lots of people's life in the future.
Amazing. All right, so I think it's fair to say that these days everyone is talking about VR or virtual reality.
Yep.
But to those who don't know what VR is, can you explain more on what virtual reality is all about?
Okay, so basically virtual reality is basically its word itself, like virtual reality, which means that you bring you actually going to the virtual world, but it feels so real that you couldn't really tell the differences. It's just like Inception, like a movie of Inception or Avatar. So virtual reality, it's really, really cool because you feel like you're so immersive. It's a 3D, 360 environment. So a lot of people got confused within virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality. So let me just bring you through a little bit. Virtual reality is you go into the virtual world that you feel so real, but everything inside the world is actually a 3D dimension. Okay. While another way around, augmented reality, which means that the virtual stuff comes to our real world. So it feels like that virtual thing is coming to our real world. Okay. On the opposite side, now something is even more interesting is called like mixed reality. Mixed reality is a hybrid of it. So which means that it's between augmented reality as opposed to it virtual reality. Now you have mixed reality. It feels like in the real world and the fake world all combining into one same world. So this is actually something really amazing that a lot of people are actually eyeing onto it. So right now, the terminology in the market is VR, but eventually AR, MR, VR is all going to combine together as one.
So basically it means exactly what it's named. Virtual reality is everything virtually, and then mixed reality is mixed the world, real world and virtually.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Now, how has virtual reality changed the game for the game developers?
Oh, okay. In simple words, that games generally is actually a 2D dimension, typically. So right now, game is actually getting much more interactive because it feels like it's a new world into it. So it actually depends on the game developers, their creativity, like how would they like to, it's up to their imagination and creativity on how they want the game to be, because they're not restricted in the 2D screen anymore. It's just the whole world, how you want to change everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so game developer is so much more exciting and yet so much more challenging, I would say. Okay, so if you want to be the best game developer, you have to keep up to date. What is virtual reality and how to make the game much more exciting than a typical 2D screen.
So now, what are the current market demands like for graphic designers and experts alike for the virtual reality tech?
All right. So for the market expectation right now, I would say that the virtual reality is still on the initial stage right now. So there is not much demand for the graphic designers for VR and all this stuff. It's because that lots of the commerce side haven't seen the potential of the VR, because everyone talk about VR right now is just all about games. But VR is so much more than games, because I have this one terminology what I call V-commerce. Right now everyone knows about e-commerce. Okay, so the next thing after e-commerce is because of laptop and handphone. So once VR come out, what it's gonna be? It's not just a 2D flat screen. So it's gonna be V-commerce. So once the business community acknowledge the power of VR, the potential of all this talent for VR developers, graphic designers, it will be tremendous. I will foresee that within the next few years.
All right, amazing. All right, Datin, we will continue to talk to you after this, but right now we are going to take a look at TechCrunch. Yes, today's topic is mostly centered around VR headsets. Here we see that companies in the Silicon Valley are partnering with companies across the border. And when it comes to advancing technology, there is nothing holding them back. And on the topic of VR headset, Oculus is eyeing on releasing a standalone headset with Xiaomi in on the game. Let's take a look.
Facebook Inc.'s Oculus plans on partnering with Chinese phone maker Xiaomi Technology Co. for its new standalone virtual reality headset. Oculus revealed that it will launch a version of the product exclusively for the Chinese market. It said Xiaomi would be its hardware partner for the new Oculus Go headset, which was announced last October. Xiaomi would also make the China-specific Mi VR standalone using Oculus technology. Oculus, which social networking giant Facebook acquired in 2014, also said it is working closely with Qualcomm Inc. and would use the company's Snapdragon 821 chipset to power the mobile VR headsets. The Oculus Go is set to release in early 2018, starting at a price of $199.
From the Internet of Things to roaming vacuum cleaners, this world of technology is not just advancing, but getting smarter. Well, although today's smart speaker is not something new on the shelf, but it is expected to jump shipments this year with the US as the front runner.
Canalys predicts shipments of more than 50 million smart speakers in 2018. According to the research firm, smart speakers are currently the fastest growing consumer technology. In its prediction, Canalys foresees global shipments of smart speakers growing to 56.3 million this year. The US is expected to lead the way, with shipments reaching 38.4 million. China comes next with some 4.4 million shipments, although far behind the US. Amazon pioneered the phenomenon back in 2014 with its Echo speaker range before Google followed suit 2 years later with Home. This, in turn, boosted the sales of smart speakers, up from less than 10 million in 2016 to more than 30 million in 2017. Now, a growing number of manufacturers joining the market with branded speakers compatible with Google Assistants, such as the Sonos One and the JBL Link range.
And now continuing on for our interview with Datin Shireen. All right, so Datin, my next question, this year alone we can see a lot of virtual realities facilities being unveiled. For example, like the Rift in Mid-Valley, it's going to be open to the public middle of this month. So what are your thoughts on virtual reality being introduced in theme parks?
Okay. I'm actually really excited about the Reef at Mid-Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, because what we see is that just like any new technology, is that when we first encounter or to understand what is technology about, it's always start with entertainment.
Yeah.
So I have been sharing a lot about what is the power of VR, but a lot of people kind of confused, like VR, is it the Google headset or the Samsung headset? Is it the one that got you dizziness? I'm like, yes, that is part of VR, but that's not everything about VR. So that's why we see the Rift, that the technology they use is more what you call as the room scale VR, which is the highest technology. So what we see is that after the Rift, people will actually have an eye changer of what is entertainment about. It's just bringing you a next level. So we are really excited about it because this is always our dream to tell people in the public, in the market, that how VR can actually change everyone's lifestyle. So I'm really excited about it.
Can you explain more on exactly how VR can change the industries?
Okay, how VR can actually change the industry is that, like typical, normally we are restricted into how to present in the 2D dimension and stuff like that. But however, VR is about just like everything in our real life. Imagine, right now we are restricted with the space. It's like we can only decorate this place in this design and because of the space restraint. Mm-hmm. But in virtual reality, it's just like a space, unlimited, and it feels so real that you can do anything. For example, you can start from like training. Imagine right now, like school kids, they want to learn about what is a apple. We give them a flashcard, which is so cool already. But flashcard, imagine they don't really know what is apple. You teach them about 2D. People couldn't really imagine it at all.
Yeah.
So in virtual reality, which you actually give them an entire apple, just like a 3D, you can walk around, you can even like eat it. So people can feel like, what is it about? Not just about education that we're looking into, it's into everything in the commerce. Just like, for example, last time before e-commerce was introduced, we said we want to buy clothes. Okay, we want to buy clothes online. It's like, is that practical? We don't try the clothes. How could we even know that we like it? We have to try. We have to go shopping center. But you see right now, e-commerce. Right now, we prefer to buy online or to go to shopping mall. Sometimes it's just so much more convenient and so much cheaper to go online. So same thing about VR. So when we imagine VR is that we can actually have our own avatar, okay, go into the virtual world, and the whole thing can actually test it on. So we know exactly what we are getting, 100% in every single angle, not just the angle that people want you to see. So it's going to change everyone's lifestyle in a way that next time probably you don't need to worry about bringing your laptop left and right, bringing your handphone. Everything is just like a simple sunglasses. Okay, that is what you call the future of VR headset. So everything is just like so convenient and actually so much more interactive and so much more realistic that you don't need to learn how to use a laptop like where is ABC, we have to learn all this basic, because in VR it's just like, I want this, I just use my hand movement just like a natural, just like our human. So this is how we see that eventually VR is going to change everyone's lifestyle. But it probably takes some time for people to understand what is it. So the Reef is a really good example on how we can actually use by entertainment to give people exposure what is VR about and to change everyone's lifestyle in future.
Interesting. All right, even by the way you explain about VR, I can see that you are very passionate about it. So actually, how did you come about to becoming a co-founder for VR Lab?
Okay, so I have been really passionate into technology all the while. So my goal is always to bring in technology into a traditional business and how we combine together to actually improve people's lifestyle. Okay, that is actually the same reason why I started edutech business. So edutech business, property technology business, and now VR. So what I would normally like to do is that I would like to bring technology into very traditional business so that people can say like, hey, I don't need to do something so traditional which is so tedious. I would like to have to save time and all this stuff. So that's where I actually founded me together with my co-founder, we actually founded a VR Lab in 2016. Okay. So the reason why is because that we want to be a one-stop solution for VR. So we start from gaming. That is why we have 7 outlets at the beginning within 6-week time back in 2016 October. Amazing. Then right now we have 8 branches. We are awarded by Malaysia Book of Record as the largest VR chain. Okay. Cool. Then after that we actually extended our business pipeline not just into VR gaming. Right now we have the commerce side as well. That is why we have what we call the WePropTouch, which is a VR property solutions for property developers. So right now when you want to buy property, you don't need to, let's say you want to buy a property from Australia, you don't need to fly all the way to Australia to see the property. Just putting on a headset, you actually literally walk through the entire property already. So we also wanted to be the one-stop solution. So that is why we actually plan to have an incubator for VR, so that we can actually groom more VR experts in the market as well.
All right, amazing. So can you tell us more about what VR Lab Experience is all about and what kind of services do you guys provide?
Okay, VR Lab Experience Center, right now we have 8 branches. So our services right now, we actually offer gaming. So what we actually focus at is more towards like neighborhood entertainment for friends and family. So unlike that theme park, which normally you go to theme park is like once or twice your entire lifetime. And that's it, because you just want one-time entertainment. So what we do in VR Lab, we actually what we call as the neighborhood entertainment. So it's just like convenience store you can go to anywhere on a regular basis, just like a family entertainment, and also as like educational style. So you can know like, hey, what's the potential of VR? So you want to develop some corporate content for your company, we can do that for you as well. So besides being an entertainment center, what we do is that we sell hardware as well. Anything related to VR hardware, from VR-ready laptop into VR headsets. So we are also a VR training center as well. So we never exactly brand ourselves as a VR gaming center because we are a one-stop VR solutions for your friends and family, for a neighborhood. So that's what our goal is.
Amazing. So like you said just now, VR Lab also is designed to focus on education in mind. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so in terms of education, we divide into 3 divisions. Okay. First of all, what we see is that we actually collaborating very closely with universities. Okay, so what we see that previously all the universities, they have what you call the computer lab. It's like a library kind of stuff. So eventually it will change into virtual reality as a new technology. So we do set up VR laboratory for universities. That is also why we actually somewhat called VR Lab. Okay, so besides that, we actually give training to the universities as well, so that eventually we actually give training, VR training for the universities, so that they can actually offer VR courses to their students, because eventually we need lots of talents from these VR experts. Okay, that is also another thing. And the other one that we do is also to do the VR content, educational content, so that it should improve people's lifestyle in terms of training. So we actually got lots of inquiry from the content. Let's say, for example, you want to train the people in the prison. Okay, a lot of teachers are so afraid to go to prison to teach the people. So that's where VR actually comes in. So this is just one example. So that is actually our goal, because what we want to see is that we really want to see the entire VR industry to boom in terms of the whole entire nation, being Malaysia, the first few countries that actually have advanced technology to be a better and advanced nation. So that's our role. We want to bring up the entire VR industry in the market. Yeah.
So VR is not actually that simple. VR is much more complex when it comes to creating.
Yeah.
So it needs like a really good graphic designer and like an open mindset. So does Malaysia requires the perfect workforce for this?
Good questions. Okay, so basically VR is very new. Okay, it's not just in Malaysia. I would say it's pretty new throughout the whole world as well. Okay, so I would say yes, talent is very limited. So, but I would say that you'll be surprised that actually Malaysia universities, they do offer VR courses since 2004. Okay, but I would say that what they study theoretically is not really applicable to the market. So we actually do provide them with training. So normally the first month when they come in, they have the basics, but they can't really produce. So normally we'll provide training as well. So then after 1 month, you can really see that they can actually produce. Okay, so it's not really exactly like no one knows it. They have the foundation, but they just need to know how to fine tune from what they already know into virtual reality. That is also the reason why we actually have this plan in mind. We want to have a VR incubator as well. So with the VR incubator, we see that the VR market is going to grow, so that the people that actually want to start their own VR business, or they want to go into this VR industry, which right now not many university actually offers that kind of program, and not many university has the budget to actually use this equipment. So we would provide this place, okay, which is the incubator, to actually develop them into VR-ready experts.
So they need to polish more on their expertise, right?
Yeah, just polish a little bit of skill. Nothing cannot be done. It's just a little bit of experience. It'll be done. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Datin Shireen, for joining me on Talking Points.
All right.
Very
Thank you,
interesting
Shasha.
interview here about virtual reality. All right, so now we're taking a short break and we'll be right back after this.